Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the August 24th, 2026 Billings City Council regular business meeting. It's a great day in the city of Billings, and I'm glad you're all here. Just a quick reminder, this is the last city council meeting of the month. So for those of you who come here every Monday, don't bother because we won't be here. All right. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the States of America and to the republic for which it stands, nation, under liberty. Stay seating. Mr. Pittman, stay standing, please.
Gracious God, as we gather here tonight, we ask for your divine guidance as we represent the people of our community. Protect us. Watch over all of those who serve us, from our first responders to the last responders. Gracious God, give us your peace. Help us to mourn the loss of life that has occurred in our community, and be with the family and the friends of those who mourn these losses. May their souls and the souls of all the departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace. Amen.
You may be seated. Ms. Bowman, would you call the roll?
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Shaw,
Here.
Nicholson,
Present.
Neese,
Present.
Pittman,
Here.
Aguirre,
Here.
Kennedy, Aspenlighter, Lindley,
Here.
Boyette, O'Donnell, Mayor Nelson.
Here. All right, Council, we have minutes from the meeting of August 10th, 2026. Are there any changes? Then I'd entertain a motion to accept the minutes. Ms. Shaw, second. Mr. Neese,
I move to approve the minutes from August 10th, 2026.
Second.
Mr. Neese seconds. Any discussion or debate about that? Seeing none, let's vote. All those in favor of accepting the minutes of August 10th, 2026, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. That is a unanimous vote. Council courtesies.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to recognize Maurice Hilleman. He was born August 30th in 1919 in Miles City, Montana. He was born at a time that didn't enjoy the medical care that we have now. His twin sister died at birth and his mother died 2 days later. Through Dr. Hilleman's career, he worked to correct part of that. He and his team developed over 40 vaccines, including 8 that appear on routine childhood vaccinations. These includes measles, mumps, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, chickenpox, Neisseria meningitis, streptococcus pneumoniae, Haemophilus influenza. I personally remember having both measles and mumps. I've seen people die of hepatitis B. I remember when lumbar punctures, spinal taps on babies were something residents in training did it almost every night they were on call, because these children were suffering from streptococcus pneumoniae or Haemophilus influenza meningitis. You don't have to see that nearly as often. It's estimated that his work with these vaccines continues to save 8 million lives a year. I would also like to point out that Riverstone Health is having a walk-in immunization clinic through Thursday, August 27th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and from 8 a.m. to noon and 5 p.m. So take advantage of the work of Maurice Hilleman, one of the Montanans who's saved more lives than we can imagine.
Thank you, Councilmember Nicholson. Councilmember Aspenlighter.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank our team. The with police, fire, and the airport for all the work that went into the air show. The air show went off flawlessly. I mean, it was a phenomenal event. There was thousands and thousands of people up there. Traffic moved in and out very smoothly. The event ran great. And the work that was going on behind the scenes by our teams to support that show and to make that show go was pretty phenomenal and much appreciated by me and the community. Nobody noticed, and that's the goal. But the airport team did a phenomenal job, and BPD and fire also in supporting and making sure that everybody was safe and secure, and we had a great event for our community. That was phenomenal. So kudos to those three departments and the team. Great event for our community, and it went off flawlessly. I hope that they come back again.
Thank you. Other courtesies? Well, thank you to the two of you. We have a proclamation, as August 31st of this month is Overdose Awareness Day. Whereas August 31 is International Overdose Awareness Day, a global day to remember those lost to overdose and support those left behind. And whereas overdose is preventable, and every life lost represents a family, friends, and a community forever changed. And whereas stigma remains one of the greatest barriers to people seeking treatment and recovery, knowing that substance use disorder is a treatable medical condition and recovery is possible. And whereas communities can save lives by increasing awareness, expanding access to treatment, supporting recovery, and making overdose prevention resources like naloxone widely available. And whereas the City of Billings recognizes the work of healthcare providers, first responders, peer support specialists, recovery organizations, and community partners working every day to prevent overdose deaths. And whereas Overdose Awareness Montana honors lives lost, celebrates recovery, and inspires hope through education, remembrance, and community action. Now, therefore, I, Mike Nelson, that's me, Mike Nelson, Mayor of Billings, do hereby proclaim August 31st, 2026 to be Overdose Awareness Day in the City of Billings, and I encourage all citizens to learn the signs of an overdose, carry naloxone if appropriate, and support individuals and families affected by substance abuse disorders with compassion rather than judgment. Together, we can reduce overdose deaths and build a healthier, more compassionate community where everyone has the opportunity to recover. So I'm going to sign this proclamation now, making it official. And we have a couple of folks that would like to come forth and say a few words.
Mayor Nelson, Deputy Mayor Boyette, thank you so much, members of the City Council. We truly appreciate you recognizing Overdose Awareness Day on August 31st. I am here with the ladies who not only run but founded Overdose Awareness Day Montana. Each one of us has suffered something very personal to want to bring this to our community and this event to our community. Our mission is simple but incredibly important: to raise awareness about substance use and overdose in our community, to offer support and hope to people struggling with addiction, and to honor, without stigma or shame, the people who have lost their lives to drug-related deaths and the families who continue to carry that grief. That last part matters. Behind every overdose is a person, someone's child, someone's parent, someone's sibling, spouse, friend, coworker, or neighbor. Their life cannot and should not be reduced to the way they died, and that is why our mission is simple and important. I have Kim Edinger, who is the CEO of Overdose Awareness, and Carol Keenan, who is the co-founder of Overdose Awareness Montana. We are very grateful. I understand our event is held during a regular work session of City Council, so we likely won't see many of you there, but we truly, truly appreciate your support, and we're grateful for the recognition of us tonight.
Would you like to come up with for a picture?
We would.
And Judy May, come on.
Anybody?
All right, Councilmember, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Good.
Miss Hetty? Are there any council reports? Mr. Neese?
Budget meeting will be this Wednesday at 9 p.m. here at City Hall.
Could you say that again? I didn't hear that.
Budget meeting will be here Wednesday. This is a little bit low. Wednesday here at City Hall, 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock a.m. Okay. Anything else? Anyone else?
So the legislative committee met. We didn't have a quorum, but we are putting together all of the priorities for the coming session. I emailed out to the council. If you got a chance to look at what our priorities and where we're at, Councilman Neese is the only one that I know has responded so far with some additions possibly, but the sooner you can get it, we want to nail this down so we can get something in front of the council to approve as marching orders going forward. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Boyette?
And just a reminder, the Operations Committee is meeting Thursday at 10 o'clock.
Thursday at 10 o'clock. All right. Mr. Iflin, Administrator Report.
Thanks, Mayor and Council. I have a few things for you tonight. Number one, I do want to acknowledge that Banana Ball was here in town this weekend, and the business meeting prior to this, Council approved some extra additional Met bus routes being paid for by the Downtown Urban Renewal District. And we had over 1,700 rides that were taken advantage of during that free time and that time span when those extra routes were added. I also want to announce, and it went out this afternoon, that Jennifer Robinette has been selected as our new Public Works Director, and she will start on October 1st. So she's excited to get here and get involved in the Public Works Department. And as the mayor said, there is no meeting next Monday, August 31st, as it is a bye week. There is the strategic planning survey that is out there. So if the council members have not taken that, please log on and take that. And then Juliet would really appreciate it if we can get a council photo done on either October 12th or October 26th. So if you could respond to her on a date that would work there, that would be appreciative. And lastly, there's no ex parte communications received after 3 p.m. today for the mayor and council concerning items on the agenda tonight.
Great, thank you. We now move to the public comment portion of our meeting. This will be public comment on the agenda item 1 only. Public comment on agenda item 1. So if you're here to speak, please make sure you've signed in. Tell us your name and where you live, and take your 3 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Jeff Kettleson. I live in the 5th Ward. Yes, this weekend was absolutely wonderful. Our military definitely can put on a show. I hope the next time they come, they bring the stumps from 29 Palms, California. I hear that's a great show too. Tonight, I'd like to speak about 1L. It's calling for the public sale of storm and sewer revenue refunding bonds. Approximately 6 weeks ago, Councilmember Assenleiter told us that we had system development fees and we didn't have impact fees. Then he told us that Councilmember Neese was going to look into impact fees for this item here, storm and sewer revenue. It's an $11 million bond. So I think you missed that, Mr. Aspenleiter. But I'm sure that Councilmember Neese is working on it like he's been for the last 25 years. You see, citizens, here in Billings, it's controlled by the builders, the developers, the real estate companies, the infrastructure companies. It's not controlled by you. These people don't represent you. That's who they represent. So take a look at 1L. That's 11 million bucks. That should be paid by impact fees, but it's not, because this body and previous bodies have made a decision, and the decision is take your money and give it to people that you don't even know. Councilmember Nicholson, a couple of meetings ago, you spoke about impact fees for the fire department and the police department. I haven't heard anything about that since then. So I'm asking you tonight to stand up and take the bull by the reins. Maybe stand up for the citizens. Maybe try and get it done before another $11 million comes before this board and you make the citizens pay for it. Enough is enough. You see, we got to put a stop to the endless gaslighting of the citizens for the special interest people that you represent. On a side note, I'm happy that Councilmember Aspenlater is being removed from the Budget Committee. I'm not sure that the one we're getting is any better. Thank you.
Any further public comment? Seeing none, we'll close that part of the meeting and we will move to the consent agenda. Before I ask for separations, are there any questions regarding any specific items? Mr. Neese.
Thank you, Mayor. I did have a question regarding 1E. I guess, do you know who Kevin or Randy Stratus, is that the individual? Is that person here? Or Mac, you're coming? Okay. Mac, as I look through this, it looks like they did quite a bit of work to get this thing prepared. And I was wondering if the county actually went out to like a third-party company to see if they would actually maintain the street light instead of the city. Do you know if they did that and what that cost would have been?
Councilmember Neese, I don't know that answer actually. Yeah, I don't know that.
Okay, it seems like that we're going to support this at our cost, which is pretty low, because $1,700 a year to maintain that light is fair. It seems pretty low to maintaining that light for all year long. I know they're going to pay a lot of the maintenance and whatever needs to be done, but it just pulls our crew outside of the city. And even in the bus, when the fire go out, they pay a premium for that. So was there any premium put into this formula calculation, or is it strictly cost?
Councilmember Neese, Mayor and Council, a couple items there. There's kind of two pieces to that. We kind of looked at talking with our student traffic. What's kind of the annual cost you have to do bare bones to make sure the thing is operational, and that's kind of that $1,700. Now that also includes what I call a burdened overhead. So that's labor cost plus all benefits, et cetera. So that's a net zero cost. And then on top of that, let's say something happens out there, we need to go fix something, then there's a sort of an unlimited time and materials. Like if it gets run into once a week and we have to go fix something, there's a time and materials element in addition to the base cost.
Okay, but those are at our city cost, correct?
City cost that would include, labor, direct labor plus.
Right, and see, I think this is where I think I'm going to separate and vote against this, is because when we look at our public works department and the landfill, the county residents are paying a premium, 50% more. When we look at the bus fund, they're paying a premium to have our fire department out there. And now they're asking us to have public works department go out and work on county infrastructure. And I think if they're going to do that, they need to pay a premium. And so I appreciate the information. I just wanted to see if that was going to be just cost or if it was going to have a premium on it, and it appears it's not having a premium on it. And so unless we can, and I don't know if legal can answer the question now, if we can do a premium on this, this contract now, or we can, otherwise I'll just separate it out and vote against it. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Kennedy?
I was just going to respond to that. We've been, that partnership has been around since the 90s, that we've worked with the county on maintaining. We also work on the state, signals and stuff on the state areas too. So that's been around for a while. So but that's not my comment.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Gavin, on item 2, on our item 1 on bid awards on Optimus Park lighting project, thank you for getting that going. That's very important, and that will lighten up the park area. When will that be finished?
Mayor and Council, Councilmember Kennedy, it's anticipated to be finished in the next probably 60 to 80 days.
Okay. So we can expect that the lights will be there by the time we start to get dark.
Correct.
In the wintertime. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. O'Donnell?
Thank you. On item I have a question about that general question presented by Laura. I don't know who would be representing. Okay. This is a redesignation of the Billings MPO and other changes. Does this in any way diminish the prerogative, the authority of this council by yielding it to some other regional organization?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Councilman O'Donnell, no, it does not. What it does is the Policy Coordinating Committee, which this designates, is still going to be made up of the mayor, the county commissioner, MDT, to make the final policy decision on MPO projects. However, the MPO will still be just as active and involved with the council and the county as we are now when we bring projects forward. So whatever the mayor brings forward for the MPO, as far as the city council is concerned, it will have been through city council and discussed and given his direction.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, any other questions regarding Mr. Boyette, then Ms. Shaw, then Mr. Nicholson?
Thank you, Mayor. 1J, we always want to applaud donations to the city. In this case, for the Billings Police Department Canine Program, Air Controls of Billings, Polly Reed Kovich, Empire Heating and Cooling, and Northwest Pipe and Fittings donated money for a total of $2,100. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, Ms. Shaw says you stole her thunder, Mr. Boyette. All right, Dr. Nicholson?
2 things. I'd like to recognize Ann and Bill Cole for their generous donation for the sculpture of a hockey player at the Amen Recreation Campus. Very generous donation. I also have a comment or a question on 1F, the purchase of traffic controller equipment. I was wondering how many intersections that would serve for how long. And I had some questions about the camera capabilities.
Councilmember Nicholson, Mayor, Council. So that'll do about 15 intersections. What we're doing is we're going through proactively selecting ones, controlling upgrading the controllers, and then the camera. Some of the cameras are still in good shape, so we're leaving those. But the controllers, processors are not being supported anymore. We can't test them. And so we're getting those replaced with the new upgraded controllers.
The other question I had was the cameras. What are the safeguards we have in place to keep those from being used for illegal or otherwise improper purposes?
Correct. So right now we don't do any recording for those. The cameras simply detect zones. So when a car pulls up into a zone, it sets a queue, and then the processor decides whether to extend that time or shorten the time to keep traffic flowing properly. We actually just get back a picture. It's still picture after still picture, not an actual video recording.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Any other questions regarding the consent agenda? All right, then we'll move to ask for separations. Go ahead, Mr. Kennedy.
I would ask to separate, segregate, M, please.
Fine, thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Neese?
Item 1E.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Boyette? Go ahead.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda items except for 1E and 1M.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Pittman. Any discussion regarding the motion, Mr. Boyette? Anybody else? All those then in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. We'll now take up item, let's do it in alphabetical order, Mr. Neese's separation 1E.
Mayor, I separated that out to vote against it. I will say that I believe that the city needs to reevaluate their policy if they're maintaining city or state street lights. I can understand on the state roads where it's advantageous for the city to maintain those lights, so we can, because the state may take a little longer, but I think the county should have the responsibility of that, or we should follow what we're doing in other areas of the city where using where our services have a premium. So I only separated a vote against this. I'll let someone else make a motion to approve.
Do we have a motion, Mr. Boyette?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve agenda item number 1E.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Ms. Aguirre? All right, Mr. Boyette, anything about your motion?
Yeah, this is at 48th and what, Central? It's going to be in the city within a very short period of time. We do have working relationships with the county on items. We shouldn't be making profit on there. We should do our costs. I can't see that this is $1,700 is even whatever 18 or 2,000 would make a difference. So I think we should approve this and move forward.
Very good. Further discussion regarding the motion? All right, we'll move to a vote then. All those in favor of the motion regarding item 1E, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
So it looks like council members Nicholson and Neese are noes. 9-2. Item then, Mr. Kennedy, 1M.
I segregated M because I voted against it, and I'll vote against it again.
Okay. We have a motion then. Mr. Neese?
Is Jennifer here tonight? Yeah. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve item 1M, and then I'll make an amendment to it afterwards, after it's seconded.
Okay. Mr. Lindley seconded it. All right. Go ahead, Mr.
Thank you, Mayor. I spoke with Jennifer on this and also conferred with legal. I'm recommending that we make a change, and I think Jennifer can bring that up and show it's a minor change to do some clarification in the number of carts and residential carts, as well as the ability as far as making sure that when the staff does see multiple carts, there's going to be room enough for those carts there. So if you look at the screen, there's the a recommended change. It's more of a clarification. Public Works is already doing this now, and they only pay for one cart in the residential service. It appeared to kind of imply that they were going to get 2 carts, so this specifies 1 cart, but yet more carts available at a fee. So I would make a motion to adopt this minor amendment to the motion as shown.
So you're going to amend your motion to adopt that, pass it with the adoptions. Is that correct?
And make an amendment to the motion.
Okay. Do a second, Mr. Lindley. All right, let's vote on that then, unless there's further discussion. Okay. All those in favor of the Mr. Neese's motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say no. No. All right. Do we need to then, I guess we don't need to vote on the original motion. We're good? All right, so let's vote on the original motion then. Mr. Neese? The amended motion. Okay, thank you. All those in favor of the amended motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no.
No.
Mr. Aspenleiter, Mr. Kennedy, and Dr. Nicholson are no's. It's 8-3. Okay. That brings us to our regular agenda, item number 2, the public hearing for land use I'm sorry, Ms. Bowman, I stole your thunder. Would you read item number 2?
Public hearing for land use contrary to zoning for an electronic message display, EMD, wall sign at Highland Elementary School located at 729 Park Hill. No council action is necessary.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm pinch hitting today, so thank you for bearing with me. Today we have a land use contrary to zoning for Highland Elementary School, which is located at 729 Park Hill Drive. This is to allow an electronic messaging display, which is basically a sign, in a P2 district, which is our public, civic, and institutional district. So with a land use contrary to zoning, you do not have a vote on this. You hold a public hearing, and then you can make suggestions to the applicant or their agent. So here we have a picture of the school as an aerial view. This is the proposed new EMD sign, one of their options that they're considering. This is another option that they are considering. And this is what the sign currently looks like. It's a static messaging display sign. So with this, the applicant would still have to go through a sign permitting process, and they would still be subject to our sign regulations, which include dimming features, as well as not having flashing, as transitions have to be for 3 seconds. You have to stay on a permanent sign message. So just various other things that they would still be subject to. And with that, I will keep this short and sweet. That's all I have for you.
Thank you very much. Yes, comments time is now. So, Mr. Kennedy.
I would support this. This sign is kind of ugly up there now. The new sign will look nice, and I'm a block away. Thank you.
Mr. Boyette.
I was just curious to see if anybody from Highland Elementary School was here to talk about it.
Looks like that's a negative, right? Oh, yes. Hi, Highland Elementary School.
Good
Tell us who
evening.
you are.
Justin Huck, principal of Highland Elementary. So just looking at updating our sign, I agree. It's a little outdated, and we're just, it's also a little unsafe. My custodian has to get the ladder out and change that sign manually. So during the winter months, it's usually wet or snowy, but he's out there trying to place a ladder in. So it'll also be a little safer for us, and just trying to keep up with some of the other schools and making things look nice and stay updated. So I appreciate any support and any feedback you have on it. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Hold on just a second. Do we have any questions for our principal? Mr. Boyette?
We can't vote on this one way or another, but there are some regulations under the city as far as when you can dim the lights, you can't have strobe lights and all that. I just want to make sure that you're going to follow those rules.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. That moves us on to item number 3. Oh, we do have to have a public hearing. Yes. So we're going to open it up for a public hearing. I'm sorry. I only had that highlighted in green, so I didn't see it. Is there any public comment regarding the sign at Highland School?
My name is Lane Dorsey. I'm here with the Billings Alliance for Immigrant Rights. You can talk about schools, but you can't talk about putting a sanctuary city on the agenda. A 9-year-old girl was kidnapped by ICE. A 9-year-old girl was kidnapped by ICE, and you still will.
Mr. Dorsey. Mr. Dorsey. Mr. Dorsey. we've talked before about what is effective and how I'm following our rules. And you've done well up to now. And you're going to have to continue to follow our rules if you want to stay in here. People, you're going to need to follow our rules if you want to stay in here. I'm sorry, but everybody else does. That's how we protect free speech here, and that's how we protect people's right to participate in government is by following the rules. So please sit down, or we're going to have to ask you to leave. Your choice.
Mayor, I make a motion to recess.
I second that.
I'm going to take a recess. Go ahead, folks. You can take a step. 2? Seeing none, we'll move to item number 3.
Public hearing and resolution creating the Billings Airport Authority and Board of Commissioners. Staff recommends approval.
Hello, Spencer Gillette with Stephen Baldwin Associates. Just here to say a few words about the proposed resolution before the public hearing. So this is the work effort before you following the May 26, 2026 meeting for the creation of the Billings Airport Authority and the proposed governance structure thereof. So we worked with the Airport Governance Transition Steering Committee. Councilman Aspenleiter as well as Councilman Neese were both on that committee and helping form this resolution before you. And I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone has on it. But ultimately, this is providing all of the powers in accordance with state law for the creation of the airport authority. I would like to add that there is one proposed change here for section 2.4, and this is after some consultation with one of our committee members as well as legal counsel. And I think we're going to pull it up here momentarily. Okay, so I believe it's up on the screen now for everyone to see. So this is a section for removal for cause. So in item 1, we are going to be proposing the addition of language that says or becomes physically or mentally incapacitated. So it will read the member ceasing to meet the qualifications for appointment or becomes physically or mentally incapacitated. Other than that, there are no proposed changes to the resolution.
Thank you. Mr. Roach, you got anything?
Yes, Mayor, City Council, thank you. This was a great effort by the steering committee to put this together, and a lot of work went into this, a lot of review, and definitely encourage the approval of this resolution to continue to move this process forward by establishing the board structure. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anything else from either one of you? We have questions for our presenters. Mr. O'Donnell, then Mr. Neese. Do you have anything? Mr. O'Donnell, go ahead.
Thank you. So in conversation that went back and forth by email, and the agreement on the very last lines of the agreement, section number 8, or Article 8, it says, any changes made to this resolution shall be by an affirmative vote of the majority of the Billings City Council dash elect. I would like to point out that by that is a legal term, City Council elect, and City Council elect is a city council that has not been sworn in, and they have no authority whatever. So I think that we corrected by just removing the everything after the word council.
Any legal issue associated with that?
Yeah, yes, I'm sort of getting a question here from Mr. Roach. That's correct, Councilmember O'Donnell. Generally, when you have hyphen elect after council or council member, that's generally during the period of time when somebody's been elected, but yet has not yet taken office. So Councilmember O'Donnell's correct that term would essentially refer to a council that cannot act. So I would agree that would be an appropriate edit to remove hyphen elect.
Thank you. I have one other one that I'm trying to find right here. Councilman Boyette may help me. It's a banking term. And I'm trying to find it right here. Have you know exactly where it is, sir?
I believe if
Okay.
you're referring to banking, it's going to be in the section related to finances, so probably.
5.1.
Yep.
It says such deposits shall be supported by bank pledges as prescribed under state statute. Never heard of the term bank pledges before. That sounds like it's not non-official, non-binding. Just a very curious phrase. Can you help us with that?
Yeah, so that'd be similar like bank security. So, and for a municipality or government agency, you'd want to have some type of security or a pledge thereof for the funds of the airport authority. So this is a protection of the funds that you would have with the bank.
So there's FDIC up to $350,000, and then a pledge is the bank is insuring, is guaranteeing all of that money up to whatever amount that they have in on their own.
Yeah, they
Pledging
would,
the assets of the bank to cover that.
correct. There would be some form of security related to it that they would be pledging it as a holding of the funds for the authority.
And this is common.
This is common. I would imagine your city itself already has something in place for the finances of the city.
Thank you.
Mr. Boyette?
Yes, sir. In the banking business, this happens quite a bit because either that or you have multiple checking accounts or savings accounts that so they don't exceed that. But usually the bank will take treasury bills or treasury notes to guarantee the difference in case there's a bank failure. This is a common practice.
Mr. Neese?
Thank you, Mayor. I would say being on the committee, I think Spencer and his team has done a great job answering my questions and the rest of the committee questions. This resolution was looked at pretty rigorously by us all, maybe a little more by me with Spencer and I on the phone later, but I appreciate the information that you have. This does then turn the airport over to the board eventually once we get them seated, but this is a good process. I think it's as a growing city, I think we're looking as a next step of this becoming. So I look forward to this board eventually getting established and this authority getting out there to see how they develop that whole airport now outside of the city control. So while we still have a little bit of the strings appointment of stuff, it's going to be up to Jeff and his team to move this forward. So thank you again, Jeff, for working with this, bringing this to us. I think Councilmember Asperlein, you were instrumental in that too. So appreciate that.
Any other questions or comments? All right. I do for Ms. Dahl. So are you recommending that last word in section 9 dash hyphen elect be removed?
Yes, Mayor, I think that would be appropriate.
So we have a couple of changes as suggested. Could we just roll them into the original motion then? Could somebody offer the motion? Oh, we got to do a public hearing. Okay, so I'm going to open the meeting up to a public hearing regarding the Billings Airport Authority Board, item number 3. Is there anybody that wants to speak to that?
Mr. Mayor, members of City Council, I'm John Brewer, President and CEO of the Billings Chamber of Commerce. And on behalf of the Chamber and Visit Billings, we had the privilege of serving on the 7-month assessment and very much appreciated the process and the thoroughness. And we wholeheartedly support the resolution. Thank you.
Any other public comment regarding item number 3? All right, seeing none. Now we would entertain a motion. Go ahead, Mr. Aspenleiter.
Having conducted a public hearing, considered written and spoken public testimony, I move to approve a resolution creating the Billings Airport Authority and Board of Commissioners as recommended by staff with the proposed changes noted.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Neese seconds. And for clarification, Mr. Aspenleiter, the proposed changes would be to add or becomes physically or mentally incapacitated to item 2.4 and
to strike council-elect.
To strike the word
elect.
dash elect from Article 8.
Correct.
All right. Any comment or debate? Mr. Pittman?
Yeah, Mayor and Council, I would just ask the airport staff to maybe hold some more meetings, kind of explaining, especially as we take this step, what the impact is to the employees up at the airport. When I was at the air show, I got a ride from one of the firefighters, and I asked them what they thought of this whole thing, and they said they're still very confused and not sure and uncertain as to how this unfolds and how this ends up affecting their jobs. So I would just encourage the airport administrator to make sure that we hold a couple more meetings, maybe smaller with separating out different groups at the airport and educating them on how this proceeds. I'm not sure where we're at in the process. I'm thinking we're about halfway through. Is that correct? I know this is a significant step in the process, so I think it kind of assures as we go forward that we're moving forward in this direction.
Yes, so we'd be happy to host more employee town halls. We did have the opportunity to host 2, but we can certainly host more as we go forward. And to the schedule, we are on schedule right now, and the anticipated transition timeline is going to be in June or beginning of July to correspond with the fiscal year is what our target is right now for the overall transition. So between now and then, we're going to be working on standing up the authority. Next thing that will come to this council will be the appointment of the commissioners, and we have outlined a process for that. And then there will be several agreements here this fall as well that we'll be working on and bringing forward to the council.
Any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote on the Mr. Aspenleiter's motion. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say no. That is a unanimous vote.
Thank you.
Thank you. City Clerk Bowman, we're going to move to item 4.
Public hearing and resolution setting annual road maintenance district number 6 assessments for fiscal year 2027. Staff recommends approval.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. This first item is rather small, but we have a lot of assessments. This is kind of the other side of the budget. Largely this evening, you've taken action on a few items already, setting revenue for this current fiscal year. The City of Billings has it's the Briarwood Emergency Access Road. It was built in 2015 to provide a secondary emergency access to Briarwood. Part of establishing that road, the road RMD 6 was created. There are 51 properties that are assessed $55 a year to help maintain that gravel road for emergency access. This action would set the FY27 assessment again at $55.28 per property. That's all I have, Mayor. This is a public hearing, and I am available if there are any questions.
Thanks for the reminder about the hearing, Mr. Zoller. Are there
Got a
any
few
questions
for you tonight.
Mr. Boyette?
So Andy, I've been on this road before. It doesn't get any use. What is $2,800? What do you do with that? I mean, is that 1, 2, or 3 piles of rock, or what do you? I mean, it's not. It sounds like it's a lot of money.
I suspect the annual maintenance on this is quite limited to weed spraying, and I believe occasionally it'll wash out from a storm, and they just have to go patch an area. So they just accumulate funds over time. Yep.
Anything else for Mr. Zoller? All right, we'll move to a public hearing then regarding item number 4. If anyone wants to speak to item number 4, please come forward. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and go to the motion phase of this. Mr. Boyette.
Thank you, Mayor. Having conducted a public hearing, considered written and spoken public testimony, I move to approve the resolution setting the annual road maintenance district number 6 assessments for fiscal year 2027 as recommended by staff.
Mr. Neese.
Second.
Mr. Neese seconds. Mr. Boyette, any discussion to your motion? Anybody have any questions, debate, or discussion? Seeing none, let's move to a vote. All those in favor of Mr. Boyette's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say no. That is unanimous. All right, Ms. Bowman, we are ready for item 5.
Public hearing and resolution setting annual park maintenance district PMD assessments for fiscal year 2027. Staff recommends approval.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. This resolution before you would establish assessments for the fiscal year 27 park maintenance districts. There are 36 PMDs across the city, each varying sizes and different levels of service provided. There's about 6,500 properties that are within a PMD, so not every property in Billings. The total annual assessments is just under 1.7 million. This is slightly less than last year. Additionally, it's slightly less than what we had anticipated during budget discussions. And I'll show you on the next slide. The breakdown is also in your staff memo. The reason for these reductions are every year we look at cash balances, estimate the next year's expenses, and try to find some equalization there so we're not collecting too much and also collecting enough. Additionally, in Ironwood, there were some changes made with future plans for their entryway sign. So there you'll see a huge drop at Ironwood relative to prior years, but it's specifically related to how the HOA wanted to fund the replacement of that future sign. Average annual charge right around $275 for of those 6,500 properties. So this slide shows the change from fiscal year 26 to fiscal year 27. That's total revenue per PMD. And you'll see Ironwood over there on the right in about the middle with the $43,000 reduction in its annual charge. Again, that's to that sign, the change there. With that, Mayor, this also is a public hearing, but staff's available to answer questions.
Thank you. Any questions for our presenter? Okay, I will open the meeting up to a public hearing regarding item number 5.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Jeff Kettleson. I live in the 5th Ward. We're going to set the rates for everybody's in the city for the Park District for the maintenance. Now, I'd like to inform the citizens of something that very interesting went on. At the June 10th Park District Board meeting, a gentleman named Rick DeVore talked about reinstituting a tax on the citizens. It's an opt-out tax. Apparently, this tax was instituted years and years and years ago, and then the state passed a law that basically got rid of it. It was a sneaky way of increasing your property tax, so you don't get to vote on it. They just added to it. Sorry. Anyways, at the meeting, he talked about reinstituting this tax, and our director, Galvin, he supported it. But what was really interesting at the meeting was, like, I lived in bizarro land for a second. We don't have enough money to maintain our parks, is basically what it is. At the same meeting, this lady gets up, and I think her name is Jackie of the Billings Tennis Association, and she gives a proposal about giving citizens money to build a new tennis court out at the Amend Recreation area. I was like, wait a second. We don't have enough money to maintain our parks, but we're going to give this lady millions and millions of dollars? I didn't understand this. It was really bizarro land. So anyways, the point I'm trying to make here is, see again, here's another example. Make you pay and give our money away to nonprofits that we don't get any benefit for them. So anyways, when they approved this levy or whatever it is, think about what's coming down the pike, and maybe, just maybe, stand up a little bit for yourself. Come here and tell them, hey, quit giving away our money. Maintain our own equipment. Maintain our parks. Think about our kids. this tennis thing is not even going to be open to the public. You're going to have to pay for it. It's bizarre land. Anyways, thank you. Have a great day.
Any other public comment regarding item number 5? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing portion and come back. Mr. Zoller, I guess we would entertain a motion. Ms. Shaw?
Having conducted a public hearing, considered written and spoken public testimony, I move to approve a resolution setting annual park maintenance district assessments for fiscal year 2027 as recommended by staff.
Second.
Mr. Pittman seconds. Any discussion, Ms. Shaw? Anybody else have any discussion or debate regarding this motion? All right, time to vote, folks. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. That's a unanimous. Item number 6.
Public hearing resolution establishing general, transit, library, and public safety funds mill levies for fiscal year 2027. Staff recommends approval.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. This resolution before you will set the number of mills for the entire city for fiscal year 27. And I got a few things to go through that tried to address all of this in the staff memo. And then there was a couple questions that were asked of me earlier today. So I've added a few things that were not included in your staff memo as well. So overall, as you may be aware, every year the city gets certified value from the state of Montana that says your taxing jurisdiction is worth this. This year, the taxable value increased for the city of Billings by 7.6%. That took the value of one mill from about $233,000 to $250,000. The increase in taxable value is made up of two things. One is new construction, that's annexation, new buildings. The other one is appreciation or changes in tax law. This year, a large portion of our taxable value increase was related to the changes in the tax law. With respect to tax revenue, though, that doesn't necessarily follow the increase in taxable value. We knew they would, during the budget process, as you recall, that we would realize inflationary increase of 2.95%. That's very formulaic. What we didn't know is what value the new construction would bring at that time, combined with the inflation amount. The mills would generate 4.2% in additional revenue. This chart here shows what the mills would be in fiscal 27 relative to fiscal 26. This is a decrease in total number of mills, yet an increase in total tax revenue. It's a decrease of 7.7 mills, broken out by type. You see there on the far right. There was a discussion, or there was a question asked of me earlier. What would the mills need to be in order to generate the amount of revenue that was budgeted? The next slide, I have those mills, but I wanted to remind you that the FY27 budget was adopted using reserves with the expectation that new construction would bring in some additional revenue. So up there, I have each fund, general fund, public safety, library, and transit, showing the first column, the FY27 budget that was adopted with that 2.95% growth in tax revenue. So in the general fund, we adopted a budget using $900,000 of reserves. If you realize the revenue from the newly taxable property, that would be the $250,000. So your budgeted use of reserves would be $665,000. If you choose to levy fewer mills to match the budgeted amount, you're just choosing to use reserves for fiscal year 27 instead of, you'll still use reserves in fiscal 27, you'll use more of them if you choose to not take that newly taxable property revenue. Certainly up to you guys. I would recommend against that. the reduction would be 3 mills. I'm sorry, before I get to that, the median home, if you adopt what is presented or recommended in the resolution, the median home would see a reduction in their City of Billings tax bill of about $20 per year because of the reduction in mills. The reason is there's new construction taking up that new revenue. If you want to drop to the FY27 budgeted dollars, you need to remove 3.01 mills from what is in the resolution. I broke them apart there for you. This would add an additional $7.90 per year for the year on the median home City of Billings tax bill, or reduce it by that much. Again, this is a public hearing, and staff does recommend approving the resolution as presented, but happy to answer questions and participate in the discussion.
Okay, questions for our presenter, and Mr. Kennedy is anxious to start.
All right. Andy, we discussed this last year also, and when we talked about not adopting until after the certified values came up, we said, no, let's do it in June. And so I'm going to bring up an old discussion that we discussed about a year ago. I'm having heartburn over, because now we have the certified value, and we had set this at 2.95%, that now we're going to come back and set it at 4.2%, because now we realize there's more money there. I won't do that. I'm going to stay with the 2.95. I would hope this resolution is changed at the 2.9%. I don't care if it's $20, $100, or $500 for a household. I think the taxpayers deserve it from us that we are decreasing for them. So that's my comments. Unless this gets reduced, I'm not voting for it. Thank you.
Mr. Aspenleiter and Mr. Boyette.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Zeller, I think we all knew that library and transit were going to spend reserve. Like, that was very clear in the budget presentation. That was very clear in what we talked about, and that was very clear in the direction that council went, on the assumption that, spending that deep in reserves was not sustainable. Like, we're going to have to figure this out in the next budget. But that was the intent this time, through the budget hearing and through adoption. We didn't all agree with that, but that's what was passed. And it was very clear in the conversation and the direction that we approved the budget. So to me, those two are off the table. Where my question comes from is the use of reserves in the general fund. I don't, sitting through all of those meetings, I don't recall seeing that target. Can you help me understand where that $665,000 in reserve comes from, and where did we talk about that in our budget meetings? I don't recall that at all.
So I believe some of that is, one time or infrequent spending. So I don't want to say that's all operational, but I do know that my budget overview presentation, as well as the 10-page intro, we talk about use of reserves each year for public safety fund and general fund. So it would have been discussed there. What specifically is driving that, I don't recall offhand. I'm happy to put stuff together and send it out to you guys. And I realize it doesn't change anything for today's decision, but I'm certain that we chatted about that as part of the presentation, because I have a slide specifically for that.
Yeah, and I'm going to be with Councilman Kennedy here. I'm not interested or willing to go back on what we set at a time where our constituents are getting hammered with taxes and fees. We're going to have a jail bond levy on the docket. $20 doesn't sound like a lot, but $20 is a lot to some people and fixed income folk. And I'm just not comfortable setting backwards and taking more than what we had pledged and committed to take on the beginning. I understand this was the true up process and this is how we've done it in the past, but this is also the first time where we've had this kind of problem under the new tax code and under the new state laws. And this might be the trigger for us to get away from adopting the budget in June and doing a preliminary budget adoption so that we have a full conversation around what this looks like today. I think that's for the new budget and finance committee. I think that's something that should be discussed at your next meeting, as a matter of fact. So I'm not going to support it unless it's back to what we had originally said, because I just don't think that's being honest and diligent and faithful to the taxpayers.
Ms. Shaw? Oh, I'm sorry. You're Mr. Boyette, then you, Ms. Shaw.
Thank you, Mayor. So Andy, all the time you talk about reserves. There's a percentage of our that we want to keep in there. Tell us how this 665, how does that affect our reserves and how does that change the percentage? Where are we at in that and what does that do for us for bonding and whatever else it may be?
Yeah, so your general fund reserves would go down if everybody spent every dollar $920,000 if you don't levy the newly taxable property. I guess I want to clarify one thing that I heard you say, Councilmember Aspenleiter, and maybe I misheard. As the resolution's presented before you right now, that will result in a $20 reduction. If you want to go back further, it would be an additional $790 on top of that. So you are already reducing mills, just to clarify that. If I misheard it, my apologies. Okay. But should we ever go out for a GO bond, the general fund reserves will be, and the change in that, whether we're using it or adding to it year over year, that will be one of the metrics that's used to determine how financially stable Billings is. And then therefore our bond rating. We do receive a bond rating every year. So as we use reserves, at times I'm asked by Moody's, the rating agency, what caused that? Is it operational, or was this a one-time use of reserves? When we're not borrowing, like your credit score, if you're not looking for a loan and your credit score is low, it may not really matter. But when you want to go pursue a loan, you want a high credit score. So that's why I would encourage you to maintain good financial decisions, which would be healthy reserves, especially in your general fund. Using them for operating costs, like in library and transit, is not sustainable. You certainly could adopt a budget, or you have adopted a budget, but you could set the mills to use $920,000. You can afford that, but you cannot continue to afford that. So I would recommend using the newly taxable, still providing tax relief for the median home, but again, it's your decision.
Ms. Shaw?
Thank you. Yeah, my question was also about reserves, because you've been very good about talking to us for years about needing to beef that back up in the general fund because we depleted a lot of it building out this building. Where are we at? Are we just at the amount that we need to keep the good bond rating? Do we have any cushion at all?
So we ended fiscal year 26, adding to reserves. I'm going to say it was right around $700,000 or $800,000 between public safety and general fund. That we've been hovering right around. I think your guys' policy right now is 33% of your general fund budget. We've been hovering right around there, so we're close. We're not way off it, but we're not adding to reserves by some large amount on an annual basis.
But to be clear, your advice is that we do take that seriously and continue to increase that amount as our finance director. Is that accurate?
Yes,
okay.
That has been my advice in the past, and it still is.
Okay, great. So just so I'm crystal clear, the staff proposal is a $20 reduction in the median homes taxes, just as it stands.
Correct.
Okay, so the debate council's having is about $7.
It would be the 3.01 mils, $7.90.
Okay, I guess for me, I'm thinking $7 to potentially solve a number of future problems that are going to be coming our way makes sense to me. But again, I'm not going to go into the debates we had during the budget because, you know, we win some votes, we lose some votes, but that's where I'm sitting at.
Mr. Lindley.
Thanks, Mayor. I got more reserves questions for you, Andy.
Okay.
So you say 33%. Is that the target we have?
33% of your general fund budgeted expenses.
And currently we're at?
You're right around there. That number changes each year, but in round numbers, it's about $12.5 million. And I think you guys were probably 11.8 to 12.2, somewhere in there. I mean, you're close.
Okay. And then Councilmember Shaw asked a few of the questions I was going to, but I want to add to that. You said last year we added $700,000-800,000 between public safety and general fund?
Correct.
Combined?
Correct.
What did the budget say at the beginning of that fiscal year? Like what
It
were
was effectively zero. Had everybody spent every penny, you wouldn't have added or used reserves.
And can you give me directionally the prior fiscal year? Did we add to the reserves? Do you remember?
I don't recall. I guess by way of some history, we had been adding to reserves and used a significant portion to acquire this building. And our reserves dropped very, very largely. And that was the year that Moody's was asking what's going on here. And that's an easy explanation when you buy a building, but not so easy when it's ongoing. Now, I know every department is not going to spend every dollar. I don't expect that to happen in 27. It never has happened, but I just want to advise you on good practice.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Zoller? Mr. Pittman?
Do we have any potential GO bond need? I mean, we're saying, just like you're saying, your credit score matters if you're actually going to be buying the car, but are we actually looking at anything that we would need to do that?
Not that I'm aware of or currently working on, but that would be up to you guys.
Mr. Neese?
Thank you, Mayor. I think when we can look at giving our citizens a $28 a year discount reduction in their taxes on the average, I think that's a win for them. As mentioned, we have a lot of things going out that we need in this community, and this would be kind of our help to county in some respects so that we can fund that massive thing that they're going to have to do. And so this community needs. So I'm all for supporting make an amendment to change something to that effect if someone makes an amendment to do it where it's a $28 refund.
Mr. Boyette?
Just so that we're all on the same page, it's already a $20 reduction. What they're talking about is a $27 reduction, right? Is that what we're talking about? So it's either, we're already giving 20 if we vote for this. Okay. If you want an amendment, you're going to say 27 instead of 20. That's the two options. Right, Andy? Is that what I'm correct?
That's the way I'm understanding it, yes.
Okay. Any more questions for our presenter? Okay, it's time for a public hearing on item number 6. If there's anybody who would like to speak to this item number 6 only, please step forward and take your 3 minutes. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing period and ask for a motion. And Mr. Kennedy has a motion.
So I just want to make sure that I'm correct on this, that this, what we have before us, this resolution establishing, is established currently at the at 2.95%, correct?
The resolution that's before you, if passed, will levy 236.67 mills, which would generate 4.2% increase in tax revenue. You will need to amend the motion to levy 233.66 mills if you want to keep it at 2.95 effectively.
Okay. I'm going to make a motion to amend this to be back at the 2.95% that we had looked at in this resolution.
Actually, Mr. Kennedy, the
Can I-
first motion needs to be just a standard motion, and then we could offer an amendment. So you can offer an amendment at a level that you wish.
Okay.
Offer an emotion.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Question for a parliamentarian. Ms. Dahl, can we just make the amendment in the motion, and which clearly states that we're going to assess the 233.66 mills?
The motions that are provided on your agenda are just suggested. You can certainly make a different motion, and it can deviate. You can be more specific about the mills you want levied, et cetera.
So, Mr. Kennedy, if you just want to make them read it
I'll
like
let
that.
you make that motion.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to scratch out Mr. Kennedy. I'm going to write Mr. Aspenleiter down here. Go ahead, Mr. Aspenleiter.
Having conducted a public hearing, consider written and spoken public testimony, I move to approve a resolution establishing general transit, library, and public safety fund mill levies for fiscal 27, assessing them at the 233.66 mills originally presented in our budget.
Second.
Mr. Kennedy seconds. All right. Is there any discussion regarding the motion? All right, are there any offered amendments to the motion? Seeing none, we'll move then to a vote. The motion by the is to approve this at 233.66 mills for the upcoming budgeted year. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Ms. Shaw and Mr. Neese are in opposition. The motion passes. That takes us to item number 7. Public hearing. Go ahead, Ms. Bowman. I'm sorry.
Public hearing resolution adopting the fiscal year 2026 budget amendment. Staff recommends approval.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I have before you 2 cleanup amendments for fiscal year 26. State law requires we have a balanced budget. And based upon your adoption, and then after closing out the year, we had 2 items that were over budget. And they are in the Public Safety Fund Fire Department. There was $115,000 over budget, largely driven by overtime and increased costs for motor vehicle parts. Those of you on budget and finance get monthly reports. And I think you may recall we were trending very closely with public safety, in the fire department. But then at the end of the year, when we finalized all of our payments, it ended up going over. Additionally, in municipal court, there were some reimbursable municipal court grant funds, to clarify. There were some reimbursable costs that were over there and unbudgeted for. So there are sufficient funds to cover these expenses. So that should not be a concern. And this also is a public hearing, and then would encourage you to consider adopting these amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Zoller. Mr. Boyette.
Thank you, Mayor. Andy, it says in here that the $115,000 will be covered by revenues from the BUSFA. Do you know what the balance is of that account by chance?
The balance, well, the BUFS is billed annually, and I believe we calculated early for the budget process, obviously, and then in about November we'll determine what the actual assessment is. And I think when we had determined the difference between the budget and the actual assessment was about $150,000 or $175,000 more, because the actual assessment's based on actual expenses, and we don't know that till June 30. So there was the BUFSA charge was higher than what was anticipated.
So will we be looking at BUFSA, the charges for the county in the future, to see if these are accurate, or we should raise it or lower the charges?
We determined the BUFSA charges annually based upon the formula between the agreement, which is actual fire department annual operating costs, they pay their proportionate share relative to taxable value. So we do that every year. Yep.
Any other questions for Mr. Zoller? All right. Andy, you good?
I'm good.
All right. So
I'm just trying to get back to the screen it was on.
oh yeah.
Yeah, public hearing. Don't forget.
So get ready, Andy. There's going to be a bunch of folks rushing forward for public
Usually
comment
is.
on the public hearing on item number 7 only. Or any public comment on item number 7? Well, seeing none, we'll close that and ask for a motion. Mr. Aspenleiter.
Having conducted a public hearing, consider written and spoken public testimony, I move to approve a resolution adopting the fiscal year 26 budget amendment as recommended by staff.
Mr. Boyette? Okay. Mr. Aspenleiter, anything about your motion? Any discussion or debate regarding motion? Seeing none, we'll ask for a vote then. All in favor of Mr. Aspenleiter's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. That is unanimous. Congratulations, folks. It's 6:59 and we have finished with the items in the agenda. We are next scheduled for public comment. It may be a while. Would you like to start with a quick recess? All right, we'll take a recess for 10 minutes.
Going back as far as it started.
Good evening. Hey, for the minutes, please recognize that Mr. Aspenleiter has had to go to another meeting, so he's here no longer tonight. We're going to now open the hearing up to public comment on non-agenda items. Speaker sign-in is required. You may speak on items not on this printed agenda. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, so please sign a roster. And when you come up, tell us who you are, where you live, and take your 3 minutes.
Okay, my name is Tessa, and I'm a teacher and mother here in Billings, and I'm asking you to...
What's your last name, Tessa?
Miller.
Thank you.
And I'm asking you to consider that Billings becomes a sanctuary city, or as the bare minimum, use every lawful authority available to the city to refuse voluntary cooperation with ICE. I want to be very, very clear about why. Billings has a real public safety issue. We have roughly 122,000 people, and there's about 746 violent crimes per 100,000 residents that is going on. And I'm kind of skipping around my notes here, but at this point, we have this huge problem, but then ICE comes in, and now the problem is that kids are getting kidnapped at a backpack, free backpacks, and kids are getting kidnapped there. Also, I just don't understand, because now, no matter how many times we've said that we wanted to meet and how worried that everyone is about ICE taking over and this getting worse and worse and worse, because we've seen what happens in other cities, and this is going to exactly happen to Billings, that no one seems to care. You guys seem to just twiddle your thumbs and listen to us and laugh to the side, and everyone just giggles because you guys think that we're problems, because we're saying something, and we're not. And I just really want to be clear. What are you going to do? What are you going to do when history looks back at you guys? And it's going to see that you did nothing. You did absolutely nothing to help save children. You did absolutely nothing. And all of us are going to be on the right side of history. So I ask you, like, what side are you going to be on? Are you going to be on the side that says, oh, there's nothing we could really do? Or are you going to be on the side that decides that you have a chance to change laws, you have a chance to work with us, you have a chance to work with the people who do not want Billings police officers to work with ICE? We've asked that at a bare minimum, we know that there are sanctuary city laws, in Montana that prohibit this, but we're asking at the bare minimum, can you help us make sure that Billings police officers are not cooperating with ICE? That's a bare minimum thing that you could do. Again, like I said, I'm a teacher in Billings, and there is my friend's student who is kidnapped. And I'm not saying that lightly. These are people who use aggressive force to take these children away. We can't just wait until it gets worse and worse and worse like it is in other cities. And I know that you guys can have side conversations and not pay attention to what I'm saying because you don't give a shit, which is fine, but this is actually serious. And, this is not a laughing matter. This is not they cause problems. This is a serious thing that we need you guys to help us with. Because when history looks back and they see the Gestapo officers as ICE agents, what are you going to do? Because I know history. I am a teacher. I know that this is exactly 1939 Germany again. So I just want to be very clear. I need to know what you guys are going to do to help us, because we will work with you. And I wasn't pissed before, but I'm pissed now because you guys are acting like it's opinions. It's not. Thank you.
Mayor, I'm going to ask if people can't come up and just talk, and if they have to raise their voices and start pointing fingers or whatever, then we shouldn't be sitting here listening. So I would just ask that we do have a cordial speaking to the council. If not, Mayor, I'm not going to stay around for it. Thank you.
Sir, we have the rules here. This is time for public comment. If you'd like to speak, you're more than welcome to come up to the podium. Please do it cordially and with respect. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Is there any other public comment?
Good evening, City Council members. My name is Jennifer Strong. I live in Ward 3. I want to thank you for following our state laws and allowing our law enforcement officers to do their jobs. The sovereign nations within our state already struggle with drugs and human trafficking, in large part because our federal law enforcement has no jurisdiction there, or very little. Making Billings a sanctuary city would make us no better. I want to thank you for not engaging with Marxists. It will be said that the FRSO is not a communist organization, and that may be technically true. But that is only because their stated goal is communism by way of the means of socialism. According to Karl Marx in the Communist Manifesto, communism and socialism are only stops on the road to communism. Personally, I believe that the very concept of race is a straw man and a social construct that is utilized to divide, manipulate, and control people. That is exactly what the FRSO and its representatives are trying to do. From the FRSO website, About Us page, under What is FRSO, they state, FRSO is a national organization of revolutionaries fighting for socialism in the United States. We are organizing the United Front against monopoly capitalism. In Marxist thought, side note, in Marxist thought, capitalism can be defined as private property, with the strategic alliance of the multinational working class and oppressed nationality movements at its core. This is our general strategy for revolution in the US. FRSO is recruiting and building toward the creation of a new communist party. This is from their website, based on Marxist-Leninism. Furthermore, on their statements page, there is an article entitled, FRSO salutes the Communist Party of China on the 105th anniversary of its founding. It goes on to sing the praises of the murderous dictator Mao Zedong. I think you've heard enough. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Any other public comment?
Good evening, Mayor Nelson and council members. I'm not a member of the FRSO. I'm not sure if that's relevant to our purposes here tonight, speaking to you. Personally, I speak in support.
Your name and where you live.
My name is Catherine Schulitz. I live here in Billings, I believe in Ward 1. I'm here with the Billings Alliance for Immigrant Rights, specifically requesting an agenda item for a sanctuary state here in Billings, particularly in the wake of the recent detainment of a father, Adrian de la Cruz, and his 9-year-old daughter, I think as was mentioned at a school supply drive. The girl and father were taken to Havre and then recently released from detention, as it was federally ruled that it was an illegal search and seizure, arrest, and detainment. I'm concerned about the illegal nature of ICE agents' conduct. As we've seen the precedent in Minneapolis before, they act extrajudicially. They don't act in the best interest of their community. I think later tonight we'll hear some comments going beyond the legal and the moral and into even the economic ramifications of the presence of ICE in our city. I don't think it's something that it's wise in any way to try to sweep aside, to not include on our agenda. I think this is something that the public is interested in, even beyond the numbers we've been able to draw here tonight. And I'd like to speak on behalf of the members of our community who are afraid of being targeted by the presence of ICE. And if I have a little time left, I'd like to remind us all of a poem I think maybe we've heard before. First, they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for the Marxists, and I did not speak out because I was not a Marxist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Maisie Jam, and I live about 3 blocks away. And I am speaking with the Bear Alliance as well. And it's hard to think about what to say when there's the fear of losing families and children, and it's a hard thing to compile your thoughts into 3 minutes of speaking. But if we didn't come up here and exercise our rights to speak to you all, then it wouldn't be worth our time. I do believe that there should be no ICE in our city. I do believe and support the idea of a sanctuary state. The fact that the most recent incident with ICE is dealing with children who are getting ready for the new school year and are going with their families to get school supplies and get ready for their new beginning, and have it just ripped away from them, and to be prepared to go back to school with your friends and just have that joy immediately taken away from you, and to be separated from your family. And even if they're both abducted at the same time, they're not kept together. And I think that there's already enough horrors of school. There's, at minimum, there's just anxiety about going to school and being in a public place like that. But then the factors of all the school shootings, and there has to be a place where children feel safe. And if it's not with your dad going to get a backpack to go to school, then where is it going to be? If we let people like this and the ICE agents into our city to displace what success we can give these children, that's our future. We have to give them as much support and stability as we can. And I do not believe that ICE is the way that we do that. Thank you for your time.
Further public comment?
Hello, my name is Lane Dorsey. I am a member of the Freedom Road Socialist Organization, and I'm here with the Billings Alliance for Immigrant Rights to demand a sanctuary.
Could you please tell us where you live?
I live in Billings. I'm here to demand a sanctuary city and ICE out of Billings. There's a lot of talk about decorum and cordiality, and we've been cordial. We've come up here and we've spoken to you, impassioned, but we were cordial. We've reached out through the proper forums. I believe it was Mark Nicholson who said that we could email and reach out for a meeting. And we reached out 5 times. That never happened. And you can roll your eyes, you can fall asleep at your seat. I see that Scott Aspenleiter left early, but we're gonna keep coming back. We don't see this as a one-time thing. We see this as we're in it for the long haul, okay? This will not be the last that you hear of us. We are here to demand. We're not asking, we're telling. We're demanding a sanctuary city so that everybody in the city of Billings is safe from ICE and Border Patrol terror, especially children. They got picked up at a backpack drive. Does that mean anything to you? Good night, Bill Kennedy. So it's just really shameful that we come here and we have asked politely. That was us being nice. And it's hit our community and it hit our state just a couple months ago. In Bozeman, 100 people kidnapped by ICE, and Bill Kennedy doesn't care. He's walking out just like Scott Aspenleiter did. That's shameful. So, Mike Nelson, when we asked if you would meet with us, you said no because you knew our demands. So, you don't agree with our demands? You got nothing to say. You had plenty to say. You've had plenty to say when it comes to trying to shut down our freedom of speech. But you got nothing to say about a sanctuary city. All these people came here asking for the same thing, demanding the same thing. And you got nothing to say. Does anybody have anything to say about a sanctuary city? How do you feel about a 9-year-old girl being kidnapped by ICE and taken to a concentration camp in Havre, Montana? How do you feel about that? Anybody want to give any kind of response? Okay, so you have plenty to say about when it comes to shutting down our freedom of speech, and you got plenty to say about our signs. You have absolutely nothing to say about a sanctuary city. Shame on you.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. My name is Tanya Schulitz. I live at 2031 Country Manor Boulevard. I'm not here as a rabble-rouser, and I'm not a revolutionary, and I'm certainly not a Marxist or a communist like I was accused of earlier. I'm a mom of a child who used to be so excited to go shopping for her school supplies. So I come here today in response to a child and her father being taken by ICE at a United Way school supply event. We cannot allow ICE to intimidate our neighbors. So I'm asking you respectfully for the following. Protect our local resources. I'd like to ask the council to prohibit city personnel, local police, and city-owned or leased facilities to be used as staging areas or holding zones for federal immigration enforcement. I'm asking that we require judicial warrants. I'm urging you to pass policies requiring ICE agents to present a warrant signed by an actual judge, not just an administrative ICE warrant, before accessing non-public city property or municipal buildings. I'm asking for community trust and public safety to be restored. When immigrant residents live in fear of local collaboration with federal agencies, they stop reporting crimes, they stop acting as witnesses, they stop seeking emergency medical care, and they stop sending their children to school. I'm asking for you to think of our economic and social well-being. Families in fear face disrupted daily routines, affecting their children, affecting our schools, our teachers, and you ultimately. And I am asking that you consider establishing Billings as a sanctuary city and de-escalate the tension that is building in our community. Catherine stole my poem, so I will end by asking you to demonstrate your humanity and tap into that part of you that believes in family values and help us keep families together by keeping ICE at least, if not off our streets, at least within controls that you can put in place to keep everybody safe. I thank you for your time tonight.
Hi, my name is Angela Demaray. I live in the county just out on Blue Creek Road. I am here with support for the Billings Alliance for Immigrant Rights, and I oppose ICE with every fiber of my being. It is horrifying to see kids being put into detention camps with no reason. These kids have done nothing wrong. They're separated from their parents, who have also, most of them have done nothing wrong. That is deplorable. We shouldn't be supporting that. I'm sure you have all seen videos of Dilly with all of those children screaming inside. That's horrifying. I do not want that here. And you should not want that here either. I plead with you to do everything that you can in your power to make sure that ICE is actually following the rules that they're supposed to do if you allow them here, if you agree to work with them. Actually keep them in check, because a lot of them go by their own rules. They are not following the law. And if you are going to allow them to be here, then you need to hold them accountable. We can't be letting them murder people, kidnap people like they are doing across the United States. It is horrifying to see that, and I would hate to see it come to our city. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lydian Eby. I'm from Billings, Montana, and I stand in support of the Billings Alliance for Immigrant Rights for a Sanctuary City. Just because the government is doing it doesn't mean human trafficking is okay. ICE is trafficking humans all over this nation to concentration camps. Thank you. My name is Brooke Bigler. I live here in Billings, and I stand in support of the Billings Alliance for Immigrant Rights demands for a sanctuary city. I'm a mother, and my heart goes out to all the families affected by ICE. My biggest fear is losing my son. I grew up thinking our government and public servants would be there to protect us, and especially our children of all. That's not true anymore, and it's terrifying. I will do whatever it is to protect our children. We will never stop fighting to protect our community and immigrant families. We cannot just ignore the terror and injustices happening here in our country. And I fear the ones who do support or ignore the domestic terrorism going on in our country have no moral compass or backbone. Thank you.
My name is Andrea Wolf, and I live here in Billings. And I, as well, am a mother and have been a member of this community, been on the PTAs and volunteered for years. And the woman that said that, we don't want predators, meaning immigrants are predators somehow, when in fact we have 404 active sexual assault people in Billings alone. And guess what they were? White. White men. And then also on the interactive data analyzer, excuse me, I'm really nervous, United States Sentencing Commission, it is 70% white men that are the sexual assault, the predators. We're focusing and we're worried that they're predators. They're the people that do our farming, that do all of our infrastructures, building houses. Who's going to go do the farming? We bring in all sorts of produce from Mexico. I'm a produce manager and take care of a produce department, and so much of it is coming in from Mexico. How many of you have gone to Mexico lately? You go into their country for vacation, yet you don't want them here. Why are they coming here? Why are they coming here? To escape persecution and oppression and violence in their own countries. We are founded on bringing in the immigrants. Yes, should they do it legally? Of course they should do it legally. But if you were running away from criminals and violence in your own country and you needed to get away and take care of your children, what would you want people to open their doors? You guys are just blank, absolutely blank and heartless. It's scary. And it does feel like Nazi Germany. I'm terrified. I cry myself to sleep thinking for my kids' future. Why aren't you worried about your kids' future and what's it going to look like? We've got data centers trying to come in here that's poisoning our environment, ruining our environment, our water system. We've got flocks. Oh, we need more surveillance. We don't need a surveillance city. We need a sanctuary city. What has happened to everybody? What has literally happened? If you are all Christians, I am shocked if you're Christians. Absolutely shocked. Because you are to invite the foreigner in. You are to sit at that table with them and break bread with them and share your wealth, not hoard your wealth. And not exclude. Shame. That's absolutely disgusting what is going on. Do you know that there are children committing suicide because they're so terrified they're going to be arrested and separated from their families? I just cannot even understand any of it.
All right, give me just 1 second. Hello. There we go. All right. My name is Aiden DeBlack. I live in Billings, Montana, And I am a fourth generation American on my father's side. And on my mother's side, I have been here, my family line has been here for about 250 years. The first member of my family immigrated here from Scotland. And not only was he a working member of our country then, but he fought with George Washington. He fought on the Delaware. He fought to make this country what it is. And while it's flawed, I think he would be appalled of where we're at. I think every founding father would be. Because if you go back in history, everyone came here from somewhere else, legally, illegally, facing prosecution or not. They came here because they wanted to create a different opportunity, a different life for themselves and their families. And Montana, I see so many signs saying that this is the last great place. We've kept this place as natural and free and safe for people. And now more and more people are trying to come here and start homes. They want to work. They want to have land. They want to be a part of our communities. And instead of helping them, all you're doing is turning a blind eye and letting them go missing. So many people vanish here and no one cares. You might see a missing child poster, if that. When it comes to the matter of ICE detention, where did those kids go? Are they ever reunited with their families? Their families in the US, their families in Mexico, wherever the fuck they go missing from. They vanish and no one seems to care. And at the end of the day, someone has to. You guys sit here with the ability to create safety measures to genuinely keep people safe. Having people go missing doesn't make them safe. Creating better access for housing, for schooling, for people to get their citizenship, to learn different languages, that's how you keep people safe. And frankly, we are at a point in history, just as it always is, where things are chaotic and terrifying, and you're faced with all these moral dilemmas, and you're asked, what are you going to do about it? It's easy to turn off your phone. It's easy to say, I don't care. I have other things to worry about. But at the end of the day, is that what you have to do to sleep at night, to devoid yourself of your basic humanity? If people go looking for your family, for your friends, and no one can find them, only to find out that they were detained by ICE, what will you do? What will you do when it goes beyond immigrants? What will it do when it comes to literally everyone who isn't what the president believes he wants for this country?
We know the rules. We know there's no applause here. There's not even snapping. Okay? It's a First Amendment issue. You might make other people uncomfortable. I've explained that before. And I really don't think that I should have to explain it again. Is there further public comment? All right, seeing none, we'll close that part of the meeting and open it up to council initiatives. Are there any? Mr. Pittman.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, I'm not sure if this needs to be a council initiative or if I can just work with staff, but what I would like to do is add a disclaimer at the public comment on non-agenda items that explains why we sit here and don't engage, that there is a notice issue. So we're not sitting up here just blankly looking. We can't answer your questions. And so I would like to put some kind of a disclaimer so that public understands what's going on, the protocol behind it, that it's their time to speak, it's our time to listen, and that we can't engage back and forth. And so the allegations that we just sit here with blank faces is because we cannot respond to you in a public meeting. So I don't know if that needs to be an initiative, or I guess to legal, can we just work on some disclaimers, just kind of explaining to the public the protocol and some of the parameters around which we do public comment?
Councilmember Pittman, staff would be happy to look at that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anything? Is there anything else for the council? Is there any objection to adjourning? Seeing none, we are adjourned.